Welcome to Mild Moodcast, a podcast meant to explore mental health through the lens of another human hanging on by a thread. I'm Bianca, a registered mental health counselor intern, soon to be LMHC, here to chat about the topics we don't get enough of. So grab your headphones and let's dive into the crazy world of mental health. It's going to be a wild ride. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Mild Moodcast. I'm sure that you've noticed by now, today is Tuesday. I haven't been feeling well over the last few days, and honestly, it was like physically, mentally, all of the above, just feeling spent. So as disappointed as I felt to not release my usual Sunday episodes, I'm dealing with it, because that's kind of life. And would I honestly be me? Would I be doing a mental health podcast if I didn't also listen to my body and listen to the advice that I give other people? Sometimes you just gotta sit one out. I don't even have a topic today. I just kind of wanted to jump on and ramble, honestly, because things are changing. And it's so weird. I was sitting there last night, and I do this from time to time. I reflect. Reflecting is really good for you. So if you don't reflect, you should. A lot of people like to run away from thoughts, but me, no. Bianca likes to sit with them. So I'm sitting there last night, and I was just kind of really looking around my brain, if you will, and around my surroundings, and just thinking of how weird life has gotten, how different things are now. I feel like I'm living a completely different life. And that is the strangest thing for me. Like, even though same person, surroundings have been the same since November, but just different. But if I'm comparing it to the last few years, things are just weird. I never even thought that I would have a podcast. Like, I totally wanted one. And I started, if you guys remember, season 1 was all about ADHD, and I was talking about stuff, and I was like, you know what? I feel like a fucking robot. So then I just changed. I changed what I wanted to talk about. I left it alone for a while, and then I came back. I'm not doing my degree anymore for a few different reasons, but the main reason, it was tearing me apart. Which, like, okay, how, why? When I first chose to do that degree, and I know I've already said in another one that, like, I decided not to do it anymore. But when I first signed up for it, I didn't know it was going to be 8-week classes, and some of them actually ended up being 7 weeks. But it literally took every ounce of energy that I had. Every afternoon, every evening, I was doing homework until like midnight. And don't get me wrong, I do some of my best thinking at night, which is the point of, what I'm talking about right now. But I was just so exhausted all the time. And I was like, this is not what life is about. So when I had done that, I'm being redirected episode, it was really me standing in that. And now that it's been a few weeks where I'm not doing this degree anymore, like, I have my groove back, but life still happens. So I was doing some thinking last night where I was just kind of like, damn, these are all of the things in my life that look so different. And I don't talk about this one thing in particular, not really to outside ears, because sometimes people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I am intuitive. I am what you would call a clairvoyant. And that's not exactly something I shout to the world, because if you don't understand that, if you've never run into someone who experiences psychic abilities, you're thinking they're tripping. Now, I'm not the Long Island medium Teresa, whatever her last name is, by any means. No, thank you. But my entire life, I have been a person who would either get feelings or see visions of things that were about to happen. It would be like, don't leave the house because something bad might occur. And then you look on the news or on social media and you find out the way that I was supposed to take, there was a flipped over vehicle car accident. I don't believe that anything happens by chance in life anymore. And when I say that I look around and I just think about this idea that things are so different for me. I'm living with like my intuition first, and that's never been a thing. Like, I've always listened to my intuition, you know? And everybody has intuition, by the way, but it's just like that inner voice that says, hey, you should do this, or this is probably not a good idea. And not a lot of us trust it. And I'm living for the first time in my life where it is at the forefront of everything. I'm doing nothing but trusting it. And that included stepping away from college. You know, as I've mentioned before, I'm also going through a divorce. So everything is different for me. Romantic relationships are different. The energy that you have for someone new to come into your life is different. Not that I'm dating or anything like that right now anyway, but it's just so many things have changed, and they're not all bad. You know, even though you go through things like a divorce or a breakup, or, you know, you move, you learn new things about yourself. I learned I could fucking draw. One thing that I don't even think that I've ever said here is I have a crystal bracelets business, and it's really like secondary to my stickers and stationery business. I came up with Mild Mood Co. And it's supposed to be my stickers and stationery business. Right now, it's just stickers and crystal accessories. The tariffs and everything kind of turned me away from wanting to get a head start on like the pens and the notebooks and things. But like, that's still very much a dream for me, all while being a therapist. And so I just kind of sat there last night, point, you know, again of this ADHDing here, but I sat there last night and I was just like, I'm doing crazy shit right now. I feel like I've lived so many lives, and I've actually had people tell me that, but like, I'm listening to what I want to do. No, that doesn't mean that life isn't difficult. Hey, not only am I not feeling well, you know, feeling under the weather, but I needed a mental break for a couple days when it came to wanting to create this episode. But again, that's me leading with my intuition. If it says, hey, listen to your body, then you listen to your body, because that's what you need. Another thing that I did that made me, you know, even think about this is I love Twitter. I'm never going to call it X. Like, you're not going to get me up off that. It's not going to happen. I'm forever going to call it Twitter. So I'm all over Twitter on a few different profiles. And one of them that I had started as sort of like a hiding in the corners of the internet type shit online journal, I decided to revamp it entirely and start looking into different communities. Now, when I started that one, not only was it like an open journal, but it was like, I'm going to post about video games here, and I'm going to post about whatever the fuck I want to, because if you know anything about me, I'm going to do whatever I want at the end of the day. But I have different pages for different purposes, and different parts of me will be seen. I'm always going to be me, but I may not always talk about the same things across all of the pages. Like, I actually have a Twitter that is specific to my intuitive side, to knowing that I am a psychic and actually claiming that. And, you know, again, not everybody wants to see that. So that's not going to be over on my personal page, because I got friends from high school who might be like, this bitch is tripping, which, you know, that's their business. Either way, it's a part of my life. I know the gift that God has given me, and I've been this way since I was 8. I mean, probably before 8, but my parents saw it in me when I was 8. But and I can get back to that story, maybe, if someone's interested. I don't know. I joined, I guess you could say, like, the horror side, the horror movie side of Twitter. And it has just been so cool and welcoming and fun. So, like, if you know me, you know that I'm an elder emo. And I've always loved all things, I don't know, just emo. I love goth aesthetics. It just has always spoken to me in a different way. I was never really a scary movie buff, and I keep, for some freaking reason, and like, I guess I get it now. Earlier this year, the thought of horror movies and scary movies just kept popping into my head, or like, I would get a question here and there about it, like, do you like scary movies? Do you like to watch them? Blah, 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 blah. And I have this story that when I was 12, it was about to be my 13th birthday. Now, we moved to the state of Florida when I was 12. And I guess both of my parents like scary movies. I didn't really consider this, but I know my uncle loves scary movies. My mom definitely has to. My sister does, because we would sit there in St. Cloud and we would watch them with my uncle. And they would scare the hell out of me. Like, I've seen so many movies when I was 12. It fucked me up. Literally, the movie It, the clown, fucked me up forever. I couldn't even stand near the drain in my shower because I was so freaked out by that movie. I didn't even want to go in my uncle's bedroom again because that was where my sister and I had watched the movie. And I'm fairly certain we watched it alone. Like, he was gone somewhere. We popped in the movie. We were like, yeah, we're going to watch it because he told us about it or whatever. And at this point, we're watching like hella scary movies. Now, I know from when I was even younger, yeah, my parents did watch them from time to time. But I guess it was just never really like, I don't know. It wasn't really something at the forefront of my mind. So 12, getting ready to be my 13th birthday, I was like, tomorrow I am going to be brave and I'm going to love scary movies. And the joke was on me because I fucking still watched it. I don't know why the hell I thought a day was going to change something, you know. I still watched it and it still scared the hell out of me. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm just not meant to, you know, really love these things. So someone had asked me earlier in the year, sorry, because if I sound crazy, I just, my voice is not all here today. But someone asked me earlier in the year if I like scary movies. And I was like, not really. And then I started kind of like listing off the movies that I had seen. And it dawned on me, I have seen a ton of scary movies. So me being over here being like, no, I don't really like them. Like, girl, you've seen a lot of movies for somebody who didn't really like them. And don't get me wrong, because when you're younger, you kind of have to do whatever your parents do. But like, I also remember going to the movies and seeing My Bloody Valentine with like 6 friends or some shit. It was crazy. And we were all cracking up in the theater. So I'm like, okay, if I could do it, you know, in a group setting and not feel so uncomfortable, I can do it. So I feel like those thoughts, they've just been popping up over and over, and I've been recalling more and more movies that I've seen to the point that, again, I've seen a lot. I still haven't seen them all. You know, there's so many that I've never even heard of at this point. But I do like them a little bit. More than a little bit. And it's funny because I'll consider myself to be a little spooky. Like, I like some spooky things. I keep spooky decor in my house year round. I love Halloween, all Halloween things, the aesthetic, you know, just that is who I am as a person. And so I think I was just sort of like suppressing my like for these. And now that I've joined this community, I've been watching hella movies. And it's crazy because my watch list is just getting longer and longer. So I started watching The Terrifier because I keep seeing Art the Clown everywhere, every fucking where. They were like, oh, he's going to be at Halloween Horror Nights. And keep in mind, I'm the girl that went to Halloween Horror Nights with beats in her ears, eyes closed, clinging to my ex's shirt because I don't like being scared. I was like, I don't like to feel scared. Why would I pay for someone to scare me? And I believe I did not pay for that ticket at that point. It was like paid for me or whatever. But I was like, this is just crazy. But I liked to be there. So like I could walk around, I can enjoy, I'll hold everybody's bags. I just don't want to go in haunted houses. Like I'm not a haunted house person because everything makes me scream. I'm such a chicken. I don't like being scared. You can walk around the corner in my house and I will scream at your face because you scared the shit out of me because I didn't hear you. And that is my life. So of course I don't like to feel that too much. In scary movies, what do? They make you jump. It's the music, you know, the music is like, duh, and all of a sudden somebody appears from around the corner or whatever. But all of this to say, I decided to finally watch the Terrifier movie, which was gross, by the way. Okay. So like my take on the Terrifier, it wasn't a bad movie. I didn't know that it was an independent film. And the one that I watched was from 2016, so it was very dated. I was like, okay, yeah, it's very 2016. And it was just like, oh, okay, so he's not just killing them, he's torturing them first, which is a lot. And I used to love the Saw movies, but I stopped watching the Saw movies because it makes me cringe so hard. And I was just like, okay, whew, this makes me feel uncomfortable. I gotta stop. Like, I can't go any further. So I think Saw 4 was like the last one that I saw. And I stopped watching them after that. But I tell you what, after watching The Terrifier, I can get back into Saw because Saw is like child's play in comparison. I don't know. And, obviously his whole shtick is torture. So once you get past that, I gotta look away for a few things, but I can still watch the movie all in all. I might close my eyes. I might have to look at my phone a couple times because that's what helps me regulate my anxiety when I'm watching scary movies. But I just kind of have been at a point where I'm rediscovering that side of myself because it's a whole genre that I sort of left alone forever. And so I watched The Terrifier 1 and I was like, okay, well, this wasn't the greatest movie, but I am interested to see the second one. The second one, way fucking better. Way better than the first one. I was like, this is... Because I felt like the first one didn't really have any substance, They were in one area, which, okay, fine. It was almost like the first Purge. And I love The Purge, by the way. So this definitely shows you that I have the ability to like these kinds of movies. I just feel like I need a happy ending. I don't know. Or at least I felt that way for a really long time. But the first Terrifier sort of felt like the first Purge. And I hadn't seen the first Purge. I saw the second one before seeing the first one. And I'm glad I did because I probably would have never watched the rest of them had I seen, Purge 1 first. But anyway, so they're not to ruin it for anyone if you haven't seen it, obviously go watch it. But the point is they're just in this one spot. It's just very 2016. It was very like stupid characters in horror movies doing stupid shit that you wouldn't really do in real life. And then, okay, is that one fight, flight, freeze? And so I watched it and I was like, well, it's okay, but I'm interested to see, like where it'll go from here. And I don't want to give it a rating out of 10 because I feel like people will get upset with me for my rating out of 10. It kind of left me like, but still interested. And so again, I loved Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 was crazy great. It was a bunch of different places. There was an actual storyline, so I felt like I wanted to pay attention. The first one, I guess it just felt like all gore, no substance. The next one was like still tons of gore, but like a story, some shit that you could get with. So Terrifier 3 is the next one that there is to watch. I'm losing my voice here. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I had to like back myself out of here for a second so that I could clear my throat. Lord. But that's next. A lot of different movies are next. And then I learned about this app and it's called Letterboxd. And so Letterboxd is a place where you can basically click all the movies that you've ever seen, rate them if you want to, start journal entries about them. And it's really, really cool because I have 38 movies right now on my to watch list, and it's way larger than that. I just haven't kept going, but I sat through and checked off that I had seen 327 films, and obviously that's not a lot in comparison to the things that I've seen over my entire life, but that was just like literally one sitting. So I've just been watching, a lot of movies lately, and it's been nice because when you don't have the mental capacity for a lot of things, you can have the mental capacity for a movie. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't there too. So it's not like you absolutely have to, but it was just nice to sit down, look at all the movies that I've seen and be like, oh shit, yeah, I remember that. Or, oh my God, I really want to rewatch this. Like not even, horror related. I want to rewatch Twilight because why the hell not? And so being on this other side, the entire purpose, being on the other side of Twitter has just been so fun and welcoming. And it was like, oh, I really like spending my time here and I'm getting to know people fast. Like, it's just crazy. They're all so like everybody follows you back, and when I had gone back to this particular page that I had made, I think I might have made it in like December or something. It had 0 followers, none, nothing. And I made it to like 31 in one day. And I was just so excited because I just spent a few hours scrolling, looking at people's pages, seeing if I liked them and following instead of like burst following literally everyone. But then the more I would sit with those people, I would see who they interacted with and then I would follow them too. And they would follow me back. And now, I probably have like 100 followers at this point. It's only been 4 days that I've been, really actually putting effort into this. But it's just so cool because to see everybody's unique interests. And again, I've never really been much for horror. So being able to be like, well, I'm a little spooky. I like watching certain movies, or okay, I'll give this one another chance, or seeing the way people feel. Like right now, a really big topic is the Blair Witch Project. And one of the guys that I really like was like, yo, this was fucking boring. And I was like, right? Because I felt the exact same way. Like, no doubt it was scary, but it was boring. And it is a hard watch, especially now. But it's funny because I feel like it's a lot easier for me to go back and watch the movies from, years ago, because the SFX that we've got today are not the SFX that there were in the 90s, that there were in the 80s. And so even the early 2000s, it's a lot different now. So it's cool because there's almost like this understanding about the movie and I get to enjoy it differently instead of just experiencing pure fear, So it's nice to just have a group of people to talk about things with, and then they also have other movies that they like too. So even though I mentioned Twilight, people were like, hell yeah, it's time, it got recently put back on Netflix or whatever. So I was like, it is time for a marathon. I'm gonna do it. But then there's also this other movie, K-pop K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't know why I said dream. And that movie, 10 out of 10. Holy shit. And I know that this isn't a podcast to review movies, so I'm not here to do that. But I gotta say, like, it's amazing how even when things feel chaotic and random, they can be so aligned. I didn't anticipate going from talking about all the movies that I've seen that are scary to being actively a part of a community that they don't care what percentage of spooky you are. They don't care if horror is your favorite genre or if it isn't. But it became something, and it has become something, and it actively is, that means something to me. Like it's not even about fitting in. I think it's just the fact that we are all so out there in our own way. And it just feels like one of the coolest communities. And of course, like anything, there's going to be drama, but I don't involve myself in said drama. And sometimes the internet is exhausting. So I guess I say all of that to say, pay attention, use your intuition, find the themes that are popping up a lot in your life and lean into them a little bit. Maybe anime is popping up a lot for you. Maybe that means you should start talking to people who enjoy it more like you do. Start conversations, even if it isn't on the internet. Maybe you got to go to a comic book store, Famous Faces and Funnies. We have, local to me. Maybe you want to go to an arcade and just spark up conversation with someone. It doesn't always have to be online if you're not truly, an online person, if maybe you're not a Twitter user. But there are communities in so many different places where you can make unexpected connections. And some of these girls are so freaking adorable and funny, and like they throw their animals up there and, just here's my animal today, or here's my outfit today, or here's me in clown makeup. And it's just like, it's nice because maybe it's not traditional, and I'm not traditional. If you haven't picked that up by now, I'm definitely not a traditional person. Like, yeah, of course I have some traditional values, but mostly I march to the beat of my own drum. And that is so amazing to just find a bunch of other people who do the same shit in their own way, People want us to, in general, conform to what society says, but find your own fucking corner. Find something that lights you up, that makes you feel good, that makes you comfortable, and run with it. Even if it's only been 4, maybe 5 days for me at this point. I literally posted, I was like, I just love this side of Twitter so much. because I'm on a few different sides. I even have a side that explores my intuition and abilities. And I like that side too, but that's also like with that same one, I'll post about sports because I fucking love sports. I wish I could have a sports podcast. Like I wish I knew enough to be able to do that. But, is today's episode random? Yeah. Is it also just saying, do what makes you happy? Fuck yeah. Because that's what you should do. That's what life really is about. Like, the way things light you up matter. And I think a lot of times we intellectualize. We do. Even if you're not an intellectualizer by nature, we will try to meet everything that we try to do with logic. And oftentimes it's somebody else's voice. Do what the fuck makes you happy. Because you are the person who has to live this experience. So maybe that means fucking scheduling a cake tasting for the hell of it because it makes you happy. I don't know. So it's just something random because it's been on your head. And on your head, it's been on your mind. It doesn't matter. Just something that may be popping up for you, something that you've never tried and you want to talk. Tell people, ask questions. What's your favorite book? Like, the book community is also another good one. People will tell you what their favorite books are. They'll tell you what they hated. They'll tell you who their favorite authors are. And it's the same way in movies. I'm sure there's an entire section for Disney. There's an entire section for anime. There's an entire section for comedy. Find your people and just enjoy the hell out of that because sometimes we need it. And no, it doesn't change the things that we go through, but it at least gives you sort of like a place to belong. And I think that at our core, even if people don't admit it, everybody wants to belong to something. So make it your own and belong to yourself. Belong to the space that you create for you and invite some really cool people in to enjoy it with you. That's what matters. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble about the things that I'm doing. And life is just, I don't know. It's all over the place. So much has changed for me in these past, honestly, 9 months. So many things look different, and we don't always take time to look back at that because there are still difficulties. It's easy to just be like, I just want to get through this. I want to get to the next thing. And I mean, like, hey, same. I feel you. Sometimes I just want to get through the next thing too, but I do like my ability to sit back and just go, oh wow, this is where my life is today. This is who I am today. This is the Bianca that is leading and making different decisions. And I'm almost a licensed mental health counselor, you guys. I'm so frustrated. I finished all of my requirements and they told me that my application was incomplete because they didn't receive the test scores yet. I took this test June 2nd, and they hadn't received my results. And I was like, oh my God, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? They were like, oh yeah, they come every 4 to 6 weeks. I'm like, it's been 5. And apparently they got them like 2 days later. So I called again this morning and they're like, well, we do have them, but I can't update, your account. But I can put a note saying that we have them now. So in my head, I'm a licensed mental health counselor, which means I'm going to have to record my intro and my outro because it says I'm a registered mental health counselor intern. And you know what? I'm just at the point where I'm waiting for that letter to come through because I fucking did it. I did it. And that's just another thing that's like different right now. Everything is different. Everything is changing and I'm accepting it, even if I don't have all the answers. So yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble today. Sorry I was late, but I needed some time for myself. And I hope that you know how to take time for yourself too. If you heard this today and it made you think, there's been something on my head I did it again. There's been something on my mind that's been, why do I keep saying head? On my mind that has been, popping up a lot here and there. Tell me, talk to me. I would love to know. Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Mild Moodcast. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. If you have any burning questions or topics you'd like me to cover, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me on YouTube at Mild Moodcast and Instagram at Mild Mood Therapy. Let's keep the conversation going and continue to explore the wonderful world of mental health together. Until next time, stay curious and keep smiling.